In the decades of globalization, intercultural awareness is very necessary. Similarly, in business, understanding each other to get the best results for your company is so important, especially when two companies are from two different countries. This video is likely to help you understand more about the similarities and differences between Vietnamese and American cultures in a business meeting in terms of time, business attire, greeting, and communication style. Okay, let's get started. 1. Being on time. It is similar in the time habits of both Vietnamese and American businessmen. Arriving on time for meetings, since time and punctuality are so important to Americans. But with American, in business, time is money. In the Northeast and Midwest America, people are extremely punctual, and they view it as a sign of disrespect for someone to be late for a meeting or appointment. In the southern and western states, people may be a little more relaxed, but to be safe, arriving on time is recommended. How about in Vietnam? In everyday life, Vietnamese people tend to be unpunctual. Arriving late for appointment and meeting is a habit of Vietnamese people. However, according to Communicate Group Limited 2009, punctuality is so imperative when conducting business in Vietnam. Being late is considered impolite. Whether a business owner or an employee, they will have to attend business meeting at some point in their career. Clothing is considered to be a channel of communication. It can tell others about their personality. Dressing for success can be beneficial to a positive outcome for any meeting. There are some common rules of how to dress professionally in business, especially in a business meeting. 1. With business suit. Clothes should be clean and neat in appearance. Color. Business suits should be in dark and classic colors such as ivory, black, gray, and navy, because this color helps to show that the person is serious and dedicated. Shoes. The color of your shoes had better go with the color of your clothes. It should be dark, urban, or dress shoes. With women, flat shoes or very low heels are the main footwear options due to the emphasis on conservative and modest. Perfume. You absolutely can use perfume in a business meeting, but do not use strong perfume. This is because in a business meeting, there will be many people. Strong perfume or fragrance might cause perfume allergy in your workplace. Let's have a look at some differences in business attire for businessmen of the two countries. In Vietnamese business culture, the accepted style of dress for business meeting is quite conservative. A dark-colored, uncontentious suit and tie are customary for men. Vietnamese people, according to Hofstede's study, are a long-time orientation culture. People tend to care about their rank in society. Therefore, suit and tie are often a conservative option of Vietnamese people since a suit conveys a respectable image. In American business culture, it's more informal than Vietnamese business culture. What is considered appropriate business clothes in the U.S. varies by geographic region and day of the week. Business suits and tie are appropriate in all major cities. Rural areas and areas with extremely warm summers have a more informal wardrobe requirements. Men may conduct business without wearing a jacket or a tie. In the U.S., casual Friday is common in many companies. Besides the conservative dress, American businessmen can also wear t-shirts and shorts. It is strange to Vietnamese businessmen because t-shirts and shorts are considered as a very impolite in business. But American businessmen do wear t-shirts and shorts in doing business. Business attire for women. The rule for women in both Vietnamese and American culture is quite similar. Besides the common etiquette, there are two things business women in two countries need to pay more attention. 1. Makeup. Women should be careful not to put on too much makeup to the point that it may cause unwanted attention. Keep your makeup to a minimum. Use natural shades on your eyes, blush, and lips. 2. Business women in both Vietnam and America should wear conservative suits or dresses. A blouse or other kind of top should have a high neckline. Women must be careful that their skirts are not above the knees. This is because those clothes will probably cause the unwanted attention of others. Handshaking. A handshake is more than just a greeting. It's also a message about your personality and confidence level. In business, a handshake is an important tool in making the right first impression. Actually, handshaking comes from Western culture. Therefore, a handshake in business in the US and Vietnam will follow some common rules to have a firm, confident, and friendly handshake. Let's take a look at the following video.
Now, the first thing is you always stand for a handshake. If you're sitting, you always want to stand up. Now, the next thing is the one I want you to really pay attention to, because this is where most people fail to hold their hand properly and they don't get a nice, firm, friendly, confident handshake. Now we're going to do this slow motion. All right, when we extend our hand to each other, we want your thumb up and your fingers out. Well, that sounds pretty simple, but what happens a lot of times is a person will have their thumb down, they'll curve their fingers more horizontal, or they'll curve their fingers in, and that's when you get those little wimpy handshakes. So we have a web right here, and we're going to come together web to web, fully engaging the hand. We're not getting the fingers here, we're fully engaging the hand. Then we're going to pump or shake twice. Pump, pump, down. Because then otherwise you're tended to shake longer. And what if we just did this? Oh, it's so nice to meet you, Susie. How do we appear? We don't look very confident, do we? We look nervous. You want to make sure that when you pump and shake, that you're shaking from the elbow, not the wrist, and not the shoulder. If you're shaking from the shoulder, it usually means you're standing too far apart. So in a handshake, when you're handshaking and having an introduction with someone, you're going to be about 18 to 24 inches apart. So that's the proper way. Now, we also, when we handshake, we want to maintain eye contact throughout the entire handshake so that we can note the color of the person's eyes. And then the other thing is if you lean in slightly. All right?
is the most different thing between Vietnamese and American style in business. You should not be angry with Vietnamese businessmen if they talk outside the box, because according to Chambers, 1997, to the Vietnamese, indirectness indicates respect for another person's perceptivity and intelligence. In other words, Vietnamese consider talking directly could be impolite.
Em chào chị ạ. Chào em, ngồi đi. Vâng, cảm ơn chị. Từ ngày chị lên trước em thấy chị bận rộn quá. Mấy lần điện thoại chị đi chơi mà không liên lạc được chị với chị.
Hôm nay giờ này công việc chị cũng bận rộn thật. Em vội quá.
Chị bận rộn thế mà nhìn chị vẫn xinh tươi ngày nào ấy. Chẳng ngu chị em. Chị ngơ chị xuôi giá hết cả người.
Em lại khen rồi, chị vẫn vậy mà. Mà không có chuyện gì mà em vất vả vậy.
Vâng ạ, chị ạ. Quả là dạo này công ty em làm ăn không được tốt lắm. Đang gặp mấy vấn đề về tình hình tài chính. Em đang cố gắng cải thiện tình hình mà vẫn chưa có kết quả gì cả.
Thật thế à, vất vả nhỉ.
Vâng, đó cũng là lý do tại sao mà hôm nay em đến gặp chị ngày hôm nay. Em rất mong là bên công ty chị có thể giúp đỡ công ty em.
Chị giúp được gì cho em chứ?
Không, chị giúp được nhiều ấy chứ. Em muốn là công ty chị tăng thêm vốn đầu tư cho bên công ty em.
Vấn đề này thì thôi rồi, để chị xem xét đây nhá. Vì bây giờ này công việc chị cũng về muộn quá. Có gì thì chị đến nói cho em xong.
Chị cố gắng giúp em cảm ơn chị nhiều ạ.
Americans are absolutely opposite. They are direct. They value logic and linear thinking, and they expect people to speak clearly in a straightforward manner. To them, if you don't tell them how the problem is, you simply waste time, and time is money.
Let's get started. This is the contract. Let's take a look at it. Do you have any questions?
Well, I think the price has translated now. So the payment for workers should be raised.
Okay, I'll think about it.
That in the first video, the Vietnamese businesswoman began her conversation by talking about health, beauty, and business status as a way to lead her to her purpose. That is, asking for more investment from the other company. Whereas, in the second video, they opened the meeting by talking about their work, not personal information. Also, after reading the contract, the businessman mentioned directly to the woman about the payment for the workers. This is because, according to Hofstad's studies, Vietnam scores very high on time orientation, 119, which means that Vietnam is a long-term time orientation. Confucian orientation towards connections and relationship building are very crucial to successful business ventures in Vietnam. Therefore, to work in a Vietnamese business meeting, open the documents and talk about how many profits you can get from the project is not a good option. Opening the meeting by talking about family and other matters is considered more suitable. How about America? American businessmen dislike wasting time on building relationships, with the emphasis on controlling time because time is money. Business is conducted rapidly. They expect very little small talk before getting down to business. The emphasis is on getting a contract signed rather than just building relationship. The relationship may develop once the first contract has been signed.